Welcome, sim racing fans, to Flux Motorsport Stockcar Championship 2021 Season 1 Race 6. We're coming to you live from Watkins, Glen, providing flag-to-flag coverage. This is the second road course in the stock cars, and here we can see what a challenge it is to take the stock cars. If you were watching us earlier this season, you would have also likely been able to see when these cars ran at Willow Springs.
Willow Springs, yeah.
Willow Springs, yeah. We only go to 2 road courses a year. How is it I could forget Willow Springs?
No, buggered it, I was in the same boat. Don't worry, I had no clue.
I'm going to blame it. I'm going to blame it on the time change. We'll start with that there. By the way, welcome. This is Flux Motorsport TV. You're here with One Shoe, and then joining me in the broadcast booth is Muttley.
Evening, peoples. We're going to enjoy this race. It's anything like last night's race. It's going to be demolition derby.
I think it's, but at least with these cars, they have less wings to get knocked off of.
Yeah, true.
And they have better fenders. They have better fenders. The Indy cars have 0 fenders. These cars should be doing well. You might also notice too, it seems like we've got a bit of a light field this evening. We're not really sure what's happened with a lot of our other competitors. Very likely the cost of being able to get to Watkins Glen International Raceway here in New York might have been more than what some of the teams were willing to actually spend to make this particular race. But those that did make the race, we're going to see great opportunities for points changes to occur. And part of the reason we're going to see a lot of these points changing is that we've got a couple of drivers that are in the top 10. If you've been following us and looking on the screen, you're going to notice that Cat Guy is not here this evening. Also, you notice that Lecky's not with us, so there's 2 cars out of the top 10. That definitely means that we're going to be seeing a lot of movers and changers within the point settings.
Yeah, well, we're focusing on O'Brien here at the moment, but gives him a bit of a helping hand if he can stay up front and get away from the pack a bit, and also probably helps Green Gaming sort of cement his position in the top 3, I suppose.
Yeah, well, he's 6th in the points right now. Good opportunity for him to move up. We've got Dale the Whale. I certainly expect with a lot of his performances that he's had over the course of this season, after we saw how he ran last night here in an Indy car, he's got that good muscle memory. Now his biggest challenge is going to be to figure out how do you hustle this 3,400-pound stock car around the same track that you were in a super fast Indy car with lots of downforce and lots of tire and lots of RPM, and this car has none of those things.
Oh yeah. This thing has too much horsepower and not enough tire, and too much weight,
and not near enough brakes. Here we see O'Brien coming down from the start-finish line into that hard right-hander going into turn 1. That's a challenge in a good car, and now we see O'Brien coming up through the S's. And look how that car looks like it's running pretty loose. It looks like I don't know if he's got it set that way, or if he's still trying to get the tires warmed up enough.
Well, they don't have a choice of tyre here. They just run slicks, don't they? So
yes.
They don't have hard or soft. So yeah, you basically compared to what we had last night in the Indy cars, you could choose hards or softs. And same with the GTEs, you can choose the tyres. These things you don't. You just get handed what you got, and it's called stiff bickies, fellas.
Yeah, this is race 6 of the 8 too. We've got 2 more races to finish off the season. Next week we'll be at Indy on the oval, thank goodness. And then we finish up at Texas, another oval, and Texas will be the night race. Certainly with the time change, make sure you check your local listings for the correct time. But now it'll be 8 p.m. on Eastern Daylight Time, as we've made the change last night from Standard Time to Daylight Savings Time.
It's been a bit of a surprise packet this season, hasn't it? Oh, Jiggly.
Yeah, Jiggly too. Good to see him running in a couple of different series, and you know, always doing well in any car that he's in. I hope he didn't cause him to spin out there, giving the commentators curse, as we've got him highlighted here. Looked really well coming through the carousel, in low, out high. Let the car take full advantage of the banking. One of the few corners on the track that actually does have banking. Makes the last corner here coming down to the straightaway. A little wide. Get out into the rumble strips. There's not much traction out there. Can really upset the suspension. Looked really good, but 4 tires over. Now, you do that in the race, and you will definitely wind up with the time penalty. The track marshals here will watch that very close. So what we hope at Jiggly's trying to figure out what's the best way, where to back up his braking point, monitor his turn in to be able to get down into that first corner without going all the way out over the barrier.
Well, with the Indy cars, you're not even touching the brakes going into the S's. Just look at the 100 and change down 2 gears. For these things, you're probably trying to brake at the 400 or 300 and pray you get for it. Got to change down gears, but they still don't have brakes.
Right. So at the top of our board right now on the pylon, we see Dale the Whale with a 108. Jiggly close behind, 109. Only a couple of tenths back. O'Brien, Harry, Booth, Jumbo. New driver to Flux Motorsports here, both in the 110. Carlin Hicks, my broadcast partner on Friday nights. 6th, it's your boy in 7th, Daz, our old buddy from the SCL and ISRL days, in 8th. Green Gaming in 9th. My name is Jeff in 10th. And CMC, glad to see CMC made it.
Yeah.
Showing has not completed a full lap yet. I think that was just him leaving the pits.
Yeah, so Dale just, it's easy to get these cars to bag the tyres up, put on the accelerator a little bit too quick than you did previous things, and these things are just, because of the brunt horsepower on these things will bag tyres up just thinking about it.
Yeah, cars have a lot of torque, and not only high horsepower but high torque, big V8 engines, and certainly no traction control, no anti-lock brakes. They're both coordinated between the driver's right foot and left foot. You give it too much right foot, your traction control is not working. If you give it too much left foot, then your anti-lock brake system is not working. And this is definitely a 2-footed track here.
Oh yeah, and you can't adjust the sway bars and these things. You're really limited on what you can do. With this track, you've got to have the car just like you do on an oval, just a little slide in it, so you can catch it, but still then stable enough to be able to keep your car going through the corner like O'Brien is at the moment, quite fast. And
we saw Jiggly kind of up on the outer edge, on the far outside, right in the high line. In this case, then we saw the opposite here with O'Brien. So O'Brien's likely got his car set up just to be a little bit tighter, and it allows him to run that lower line. Same thing here coming on. Notice too how he did not get onto the rumble strip coming out of that last corner, where we saw Jiggly have at least 2, maybe 3 tires on that as he went through that same corner.
Yeah, and I mean, probably with the lap time that Jiggly did that one, he probably didn't get his fastest lap because it would have upset the car because the back end was just bouncing over the rumble strip, so you're not really getting much tyre grip down. You're just sort of praying the car will settle as you get off the rumble strip as you go across the line and do a better lap next time.
Well, let's go take a peek and see what Dale the Whale is doing here. Let's kind of take and we'll compare to see what his line is doing in the Epperson suspension, number 3 car. So he comes off the last corner. Let's see how far he is. Now, just barely making contact. So we kind of saw the difference between the two. He's not all the way up on the rumble strip, and he's not off. It's like he's almost using that as the place for him to feel how far is too far as he goes around that corner. Looking very tidy coming up the S's, a little loose. Yeah, a little coming off there as he makes that transition. And when you get to the second part of that S, you almost want to be a little farther to the right to give you a straighter shot as you make that turn uphill over the rumble strips, actually into the grass. And down. I don't think he's as low as what O'Brien was. O'Brien certainly
he didn't hang on to it either.
Yeah.
He had to release it and give it more space, because I think if you held it tight then he would have looped it.
Really arced it into the corner. Looks like we got somebody that spun out there. Looks like there's Jiggly.
Yeah, he's spun up.
Trying to get into the 108s.
In the cockpit as he does this lap.
That first turn, very nice.
Yeah.
2 tires up there. Now you watch as he gets up here to the top. We'll actually see the car make that. And you saw the tachometer, and you heard the car actually get a little loose as he made that transition into the left-hander. Now up here to the inner loop, the bus stop, the kink, whatever you care to call it. Out using, you can hear him using that traction control, using that right foot to walk the car around. Much better that time. Used up pretty much the entire corner from all the way on the bottom all the way out to the rumble strip. That's about as clean lap as what you'll see in these. Speaking of clean laps,
lap time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fast. As we're riding on, it did a faster lap time that lap.
And additional so much control. But it's
definitely loose through
that
through the race. Yeah, he's loose, but then he's able to grab hold of it and bring it back. Me, if it set sail like that, I'd be set sail onto the fence. That's why I don't run these things anymore. It gets high and light as the car actually moves up in its weight distribution, and then it starts sliding and you can't stop it.
As Dale's starting to burn that fuel off too, as we get down to 4 minutes to go here at qualifying. Oh, he had to give it a try.
Yeah.
He had to give it a try. He was probably right towards the end of his tire and his light fuel run.
Well, you always think the car's faster with the lowest fuel level and your tyres in the right margin to be sticky and get a decent lap out of it. Yeah, I have two thoughts about it.
Yeah. let's take a look at the kind of the polar opposite here. Let's go down and put Carlin on, and let's kind of watch.
Right.
Let's see what Carlin's line is here. Oh, he's been doing a little body work.
I'd say that's fixed. Just getting a bit out of it.
Carlin will tell you over and over again that he is most usually never the fastest guy at qualifying, but he focuses a lot on what's going to make the car handle consistently over the long run. A little brake lock up, trying to get set up. Yeah, we'll see what he looks like coming up the S's here. I really expect to see him very similar. Oh, a little wider arc going out here for that left-hander. So we didn't see quite the back end wiggle. Take a look and see what he is here. See if he's
a little nicer on the tyres though. Cool. Yeah.
And that could bode well, especially if somebody was going to try to do a little strategy, maybe try to see if he could go. I did not run any laps here during the practice sessions earlier today. And do you think they can run the whole distance on a tank of fuel? I don't think they can. I don't think they can run the full 45-minute time frame on a single tank of fuel.
Well, they're almost doing a lap a minute, aren't they? If you take that 8.
Right. Yes. Good point.
You figure that 45 minutes means 45 laps, but we don't actually get 45 minutes. We get 43, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at 43 to 44 laps. So yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be tight. If you run your car fully flat out all the way through, I'd say you might have to come in for a stop. When you come in, put fresh slicks on, that takes extra time. So yeah, everything you do.
Let's see, who haven't we given some screen time to? Let's see how Harry's getting along.
Yeah, Harry. Well, he's got a bit of a bent car. He's just gone back into the pits. My name's Jeff. We'll go to him. He's got a bent car.
Looks like they're just getting him ready for the race. They're just going to go ahead and start beating the fenders on him now, because they know that's the way it's going to be. Oh, really loose coming off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him get loose going in. He was getting loose coming off. His traction control needs a little work there.
Well, if he does that in the
Highline
race,
coming out.
I'd be worried he's scraping the fence and then coming back out in front of you.
Ooh. We might wind up having. I bet you the carousel is going to be a great place to watch. Get to see some drift shows going on. As we get towards the end of qualifying, Dale Away with a 108.3, Jiggly Jello certainly.
Brian's out though. So,
Brian.
He's done. He's gone in.
Harry, my name is Jeff. It's your boy. New guy. Rookie, Boot Jumbo, Carl Bass, Green Gaming.
Yeah, 108.320 to a 109.
I like CMC's. I like what he did there. You know you're in the field. You know that starting in the back, you're going to have the best opportunity to avoid whatever carnage is going to happen in turn 1. I'm going to pick CMC, the least likely to be involved in an incident going into turn 1 at the start.
Well, I'm placing bets on Brian, definitely to show up the front somewhere along the line, and my rough pick for today's race is Carlin. I've got to have a side bet on that one. Just to cover myself. Dale the Whale, Jiggly.
And
I say they got quick qualifying cars. They strip them back a little bit and make them nice for the race. They'll be interesting. Oh, Jiggly's just gone. Oh, Dale. They snagged or they come back.
So Dale the Whale winds up getting the bonus point. Pole sitter.
Yeah.
Jiggly Jello second. O'Brien third. Harry in fourth. My name Jeff.
My name Jeff.
Fifth.
Yeah.
It's your boy Squash in sixth. Booth Jumbo seventh. Carlin Hicks in eighth. Daz in ninth. Green Gaming in 10th. And CMC in 11th.
Watching the field.
As we move the drivers,
I'd be pretty happy with that, you know, in a way, because you can see what's going to happen in turn one. You can sort of place your car in a nicer spot and hopefully miss the wreck, because they'll be going out to the fence being CMC. I don't know if you get too much away with it in the Indy cars like we did yesterday.
cold tires, cold track, cold brakes. And just kind of that nervous energy of getting the first corner. As we move the drivers into the 2-minute room, and if you've watched any of our broadcasts before, and you know if you want to be part of the action that you're seeing here, then come join us in the Flux community. Go to www.fluxmotorsport.com, sign up, join us on the Discord, get an evaluation drive, pick one of the 7 championship series, Season 2 coming up soon, and you too can be featured right here on Flux TV. While you're on the Flux Discord, participate in the community race, get set up, support, donate if you please, browse the marketplace for Flux swag, because winning is pointless if you don't look good while you're doing it. Discounts and offers available from Fanatec and ACELIT through our affiliate links. Join us here at Flux Motorsport, the home of clean sim racing and eMotorsports. Well, I think Dale, he had actually mentioned that he was having some hardware issues that caused him to do a quick pit stop. But it looks like we still have the entire group. Watkins Glen International Raceway has been holding stock car races here for a number of years. Everything, and it's not only IMSA races, we've had Trans Am races, Formula One has raced here. Probably over the last 15, 16 years, the stock cars have definitely put on a show. This is where we started to get some of those guys that we would refer to as the road course ringers that would come in and do one-off races. And it would be all of these guys that had never been in an oval car before, but they knew how to properly run on a road course. And they would come in a lot of instances. There you go.
Sorry.
There's a great example.
Sorry.
And here we are. We're getting away at the start. And look at the great start that Harry got here. It looks like he was kind of asleep. They go down into turn 1, and let's see, there are 3 wide behind.
Was that a standing start?
Yes.
Should have been rolling.
Well, we'll talk to the race director after that. But they got through turn 1. It looks like everybody got through clean. And out front is Harry. Dale close behind. Jiggly, my name Jeff. O'Brien, it's your boy. Booth Jumbo, Green Gaming, Carlin, Daz, and CMC. So what we would hope here, especially on this opening lap, is they've already started to give each other a little space and room. It's going to give them opportunities to set into a rhythm. And more importantly, remember that this is a 45-minute race, and you can't win the race on the first lap, but you can certainly lose the race on the first lap. Or at least be 5 or 6 laps down. But that's a story for another time. So out front, Dale and Harry showing the way. As we're not surprised, Harry definitely had a great run at Willow Springs. We see Dale showing his dominance as they coming up through the S's. And I'm not sure why Harry has chosen the inside line there.
Pretty brave.
It did, but he set it up really well and was able to get the car through, and it looks like he gained quite a bit coming through the... Ooh, I'm going to have to try to remember that one. That, I don't know if I'd seen anybody enter the bus stop or the inner loop in that manner.
No, normally you're on the outside where most of the group is, where everybody runs, so yeah, it's interesting.
Be likely the cleanest part of the track too. So as we get to end lap 2 here, let's see what type of lap times we're actually putting down compared to what we had for our qualifying. So they're not that far off.
This group here are all back in 112s, 115s. Well, there's one around.
Yeah, got the car up on the rumble strip.
Yeah.
And went to the throttle. And Get Your Boy looks like he's got some pretty severe damage. Let's hope he can get the car back to the pits, get it in for repair. Well, at this point, would hope he's on the comms, letting everybody else know where he's at. He's staying way off of the racing line. So he's doing the right thing. Meantime, up front, now we've got Jiggly Jello, who's joined the group here, and now we got the top 3, which makes sense. These were the 3 fast guys in qualifying. And it's interesting to see the different line that each one of these are taking. And they're all running very comparable times. So now let's see. Yeah, Jiggly had all four across there. Let's hope he didn't wind up getting any type of slowdown penalty from the track marshals.
Well, if you come back straight away, it's better for you and hanging out on the Rundle, you know what I mean? I found that out the other day, that if you actually come back a little earlier, it doesn't give you the penalty as much if you take your foot out of the throttle. Sort of do your penalty as you're trying to get back onto the track.
Well, I like Harry's line going into the inner loop there at the bus stop. But I think, too, by him doing that, he may be having to slow down too much, and it's given Dale the opportunity to really gain a lot. I mean, he's already pretty close to him. He took a peek on the inside there coming off of the last corner and thought better of it, at least for this lap.
Well, I think what Harry's doing with the bus stop is he's straight lining it very, very well, which is by going up narrow, being against the fence there. When he comes across, he's almost going straight. I mean, he's hitting the Rundle on the inside of the track, because that's where he is on that side. But as the bus stop comes towards him, the other rundle strip on the left-hand side is almost underneath his car, so he's very straight. He's gone a bit wider then, but yeah, the other way he's sort of like straight lining that corner a bit.
And you can't argue with his success.
No, these guys are showing the pros at the moment how to do it.
Yeah, so maybe now here's where we're saying, certainly if I had to put Harry in that class, Harry is definitely one of those road course winners here in these stock cars.
Whoa, but he got loose off the Rundle. And that's what we were talking about before. You get up on those Rundles with all 4 tyres and try to put your foot down too quick. The car gets upset and just spits you left.
Yeah, now that Dale's got the clear track and he's got the clean air, let's see if he gets
off.
Yeah, does he get back to his 108s, or does he still stay in about the 110s? And Jiggly moving to the right there. Maybe he saw what Dale was, what Harry was doing. Dale's up a 10th through that second section. Down on the inside. Let the car run out. Yeah, now that he's got clear track in front of him, he's not focusing so much on trying to figure out where Harry is, as he is now just hitting his marks and trying to stay clean as possible. Oh, there we have somebody looked like they were trying to get into the pits.
Yeah.
Is that It's Your Boy still trying to get into the pits?
We'll go down there and find out.
Well, it looks like he's back on the... So It's Your Boy still struggling. Meanwhile, back up front, Jiggly's now closed the gap on Dale, and they're kind of maintaining pace. Dale's off a little bit too, about a half a second off. I wonder if he had a moment where we were looking at It's Your Boy.
Well,
how you get off of that inner loop at the bus stop there. We saw that with Jiggly. Jiggly did not get off of the inner loop well, and it really didn't send him up for the carousel at all.
Seems to be good in this section. You know, towards the finish line, seems to be very strong.
Across the start-finish line, down the hill, hard on the brakes. Turn the car into that right-hander, and don't let it go too far out over the rumble strip if you can help it at all.
All these guys are in the 110s. My name's Jeff's in the 111s. Booth is in the 12s. Brian's in the 11s. Back a bit, looks like he's had a bit of a loose moment somewhere along the line. And then Carlin and the rest of them.
Yep, looking very tidy coming up through the S's. They'll get a little gap here on Jiggly.
Harry's running hasn't worked. Oh, there goes CMC yet again. Thanks for turning up.
Yeah, CMC has had just numerous hardware problems over the course of the season in multiple series. Really hate to see that happen. Had a really good strategy going in here, and I hope for the remainder of the season, whatever his hardware transmission problems are, we can get those corrected, because CMC is definitely fast.
Green Gaming and Daz are in the pits.
And I didn't see in that instance, I didn't know if they had actually wound up having some potential problems with the car, or if if this is part of their strategy. If they've went through and they did their fuel numbers and actually had an opportunity to be able to look and identify, because on a road course, most usually on a road course, you work the race backwards. If you know what your fuel burnt per lap is, and then you figure out how many laps can I go, and we know that in this case in the Flux Motorsport series, the races stay green, so you count how many laps it is, usually give yourself about a 1 lap buffer.
Way out there.
Jiggly way over the curb. And you work the race backwards, and you know what your target time or your target lap is to go in, top off the fuel, put a new set of tires on to go all the way out. As we look at Green Gaming and Daz, they've been in the pits for an extended period of time, so there was likely some damage that occurred to one or both of those cars. And the amount of time that it takes to correct the damage, even on a long track as this, can still wind up causing you to be a couple of laps down to the rest of the field. Here's O'Brien. Here's our good buddy Carlin Hicks. Carlin's down in the 120s. He was in the 115s and we were watching him earlier. So now it makes me even wonder more, is Carlin not only working the fuel strategy and the tire strategy, or as he's started to see how many people have actually dropped off and had problems. Does this wind up being a opportunity to get points and be able to move up in the standings? Which, by the way, since we're talking about the standings, O'Brien is leading currently in the points with 124 points. Cat Guy, who's not here tonight, second place with 118 points.
Oh, Jiggly missed him just.
Oh, so close. So close. Hope he was on the comms. Now he looks like Dale's either having a hard time getting it in gear, getting the car turned around. Local caution in that corner. Let's see what Dale does, see if he dives in right away. Nope. Stays out.
He's actually leading in his first race. Woo. Bet you he had his heart in his mouth when he went through the corner.
Yeah, it's kind of like surprise. Whip around that corner and then see that here. So Jiggly Jello in the number 10 Carton Ford. Love that livery. Plenty of stars and stripes. Out front here at Watkins Glen International Raceway. Flux Motorsports Stock Car Championship 2021 Season 1 Race 6 at Watkins Glen International Raceway.
Yeah, and what I've seen from Jiggly all season is consistent. He's not overdriving the car too much, as I give him the curse.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy. You know, if you can keep this up, you know, it should end up on the top end of the pedestals. He's just got to keep being consistent and stick to his plans.
Right.
We're unsure. Yeah, we're unsure what his plans are. But I'd say I have a feeling there's a fuel stop in here somewhere.
Yeah, and now is not the time to try to be running qualifying laps. Now is the time to maintain. Keep the car on the track. Here we see him actually coming up to Carlin, and don't know if Carlin's gotten the blue flag yet. Jiggly definitely a couple of seconds a lap faster than him. Carlin gives him plenty of room, moves over to the left, and then Carlin falls back in line. So now in this case, do you suppose, are we starting to see, with accelerated tire wear and knowing how heavy these cars are we starting to see a little bit of this? We're 15 minutes into the run. So there's likely at the very least burn off anywhere, what would you say, a quarter to maybe half of the fuel load?
I definitely think they'd be on half the fuel load, and depends how you've been, I suppose, in a way, driving your car. If they're doing, 110s, Dale's done a 109, you're doing almost qualifying laps on these tyres, and they work all right for your qualifying laps, but they don't last like that during the race. They go off and then they sometimes come back, but then if you push them too hard, they completely go off and you just can't drive the car, so you have to go in for another set of tyres.
Well, and in the beginning too, where Jiggly was third in the line there between Harry and Dale, where he had no downforce on the front of the car, so he was using up more of the tire to be able to run behind those two guys too. Looks like he might even, that might even almost sounded like a little bit of a short shift. That's another effective way to keep the car from over rotating. Instead of, you know, taking the engine out and let it turn 9,000 RPMs, short shift it a little bit, cause the engine to bog just a touch, and that's another way to do some artificial traction control, if you will. So it looks like in this case we're going to see Dale. He's certainly closing the gap between him and Harry. Harry's settled into a pretty comfortable rhythm, maintaining pretty good control here, not allowing the car to get too far out of shape, especially any opportunity where you come around, and there you go, he just runs a new fast lap for himself. Jiggly and Harry both in the 110s, Dale in the 109s. So Dale now refocused to make up for the mistake that he had, working his way back up to the front as we have 26 minutes left to go in the race. 16 lap in, your leader out front, Jiggly Jello. Harry in second place, Dale the Whale in third. Boof Jumbo. Boof is new to the Flux Motorsport, just came in into the series here within the last 2 races. Signed on with the car number 77 and is out here putting on a good show because he's staying well within himself. Don't believe we've seen him actually have any hair-raising moments, at least while we've had him on camera.
Jiggly had a moment because he's dropped a spot.
Yep, and that lap was a 23.
23, yeah.
Dale's back up to second and hard charging after Harry, so we got both of them in view. And we see Harry coming up on a back marker.
And that's probably some of the problems you can come across as well, is when you come up onto the back markers, not used to the car not having air on the front, or, you know,
yep,
less grip. Oh, this is. Oh. Good job though. What was that,
Green Gaming? Yeah, Green Gaming did his very best, and as a result of that, it cost him. He stuffs the left front corner into the wall, and now he's got damage. He's likely going to have to go in to get that repaired. But he did his very best. That's the other challenge too, that when you've got a faster car coming, and you get the blue flag, you want to look for the first opportunity that's available that allows you to safely move over so the faster car can get by, and hopefully you can do it without impeding them, and even more hopefully without actually damaging your car in the instance.
Yeah, or impeding yourself, yeah. It's
right.
hard,
Especially if you're in an instance where you're racing for a position with somebody else.
Yes, yeah, well, you know, if you're up the front here and you're racing somebody and then you got somebody terrorising you behind but they're a lap down, it's, pretty interesting.
Dale's definitely on it. He's got the bit in his teeth. He's got Harry in his sights. We've got 23 minutes left, and he's closing the gap. He was over 2.5 seconds back when we started watching him, and now here he is 0.3 of a second. we're back to seeing Harry and Dale out front showing the way for everybody else. So I think that also speaks to a little bit what's happening with Dale's car. We saw he definitely overshot the exit of the inner loop there for the bus stop, as the case may be.
Well, these two keep going on. Well, I think Jiggly's got a little bit of damage to his car, so it depends how bad it is. Can he catch back up to these guys? Not too sure on that at the moment.
Well, but even in this case, if we look at the top six, they're all running 110, 112s. They're all very competitive times, and I'll give it to these guys out front, Harry and Dale. They are definitely leading the way. They're putting on a clinic, and even though they've had some challenges, both of them have had opportunities to have some scary moments, catch their breath, and get back in. Right now, they're a couple of my heroes right now because they're really handling these stock cars on this track.
Well, especially Harry, since he's the one that most hasn't driven these cars a lot beforehand, especially on our side of the fence.
So here we go. Let's see what's going to happen. Yeah, Harry moved over to the inside. Dale, did we get a crossover at the bottom of the hill? No, Dale wasn't close enough to be able to make it happen. So head back up the S's. Dale takes a little tighter line coming up the S's, setting Harry up. He knows Harry's going to go to the inside, go into the inner loop. Does he dare try it on the outside here?
The thing is, with that move that Dale's going to make, when you come back to the corner, unless you've got the gap to pull your car across, you're just going to get spun.
Yeah, because if he wasn't able to at least show the fender, he'd have to show the fender in the door to have position to actually make that pass. Well,
the two lines come together there at the corner. And the thing is, it just ends up in a big accident if you get it really, really, really wrong.
We're under 20 minutes left to go on the race. You're here watching us on Flux Motorsport TV. Stock Car Championship here. Jiggly heading into the pits.
I think that's due to the damage.
And we're at Watkins, Glen. It's a beautiful day, and we're watching a road racing clinic by a couple of guys in the stock car class. So they've got challenges. They've got challenges with how much the tires are worn, how much fuel is burned off, how much they know that
NASCAR.
Exactly how much they don't have all the things they wish they had right now, which is traction and braking, and they got plenty of horsepower. Oh, and here's Dale. Did he get it slowed down in time to hit the 37-mile-an-hour pit road speed without getting a penalty? I don't see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any penalties at the moment. It would have been close.
If he didn't get, that would have been a to be able to get that car slowed down at that point to get down to pit road speed so he can enter the pits and not wind up getting the penalty as a result of that.
Well, it's 23 laps.
Well, that falls in line too with what you were saying earlier about how many laps you felt that they would, you know, at the most would they run 40 laps, 42 laps here maybe?
Yeah, but they're not doing. We were saying like they're doing a minute a lap, but now they're doing, you know, a minute 11 a lap. So, you know, you change that to, you know, 40 something laps. So we've done 20 something already. We got 17 left. So in the 30s, I say at the moment, somewhere.
We just got a report from the pits too. It's your boy Squash has had too much damage on his car. They were unable to repair it, so he's out for the rest of the race.
The drive so far is this guy.
Yeah, this is again our the newest member of Flux Motorsports, Boof Jumbo. He's come in here. Car looks really clean. He's been running some very consistent laps, and we really haven't seen anything out of the ordinary from him. He's maintained a very good pace. I can't say for sure. We don't have our pit road reporter, who's now just reported to us that it's your name Jeff has also suffered. I don't know if it was a transmission problem, an engine, or a differential, but something happened in the drivetrain. His car was too damaged to continue the rest of the race. So if you're in
this week,
if you're one of the cars left here, there's 16 minutes left. Your goal should be now is to finish these last 16 minutes. It's going to be a good point day for you. Well, even if you have to give up and even if you wind up being a lap down, back the car off, because it's going to be a good point day for everybody who winds up staying.
When's Harry come in? He's been out there for 25 laps.
Yes. And still running in the 111s.
Yeah. But Brian's jumped up to third. So he's got boost in that pit stop, so maybe he had a bit of damage because he's been in there a while.
Oh,
which changed
boy.
Way down the first,
that's an indication that either Harry's had so much tire wear now that the car is not sticking, or maybe he's trying to gap as much as possible to give him an opportunity to come in to make his pit stop and be able to get back out and still be ahead of Dale the Whale. But with Dale, I'd probably want about a 5 or 6 lap gap before I'd feel comfortable coming into pits and thinking that I could still get out there ahead of him.
Yeah, I think if, you know, I seen my competition go in, I'd go in a lap later, just to tick that box off.
Dale's just going into the bus stop now, as we see Harry actually come across the start-finish line.
Yeah, I always, you know, I like going in before my opponents, just jump them in the pit stop if they have a problem. But
so you're a fan of short pitting then?
Also, yeah, trying to cause an undercut if you're within the window, as I call it. That, you know, you come in 1 or 2 laps earlier and the other bloke, and they have a, you know, stumble in pit lane for whatever reason. You know, you've been running hot laps, so I call it an undercut. So
yep.
What the Aussie drivers do out here, they come in earlier what the other guys do, which causes sometimes the other blokes to come in to make sure they've got the tyres that, that the other blokes have. So, yeah, it's
And
a bit of an Aussie thing.
well, but it throws guys off of their game plan too, and especially here on a road course where you can plan all you want to, and until you wind up running down into a corner and either get punted or wind up running off the track, and then you have to throw that game plan out and go to plan B, C, D, and F.
Well, I mean, we all knew yesterday with the Indy cars we had come in, just we didn't plan on the early stops because of damage. That's
Right.
the difference.
I don't care. I still love coming to this track. Love the layout. It's a fun ride. You've got these huge elevation changes, the
Good
great
news then.
scenery on both sides.
Los Stars. Down to 7. Another blown motor.
So the hardware is and I don't know if it's just because the temperature of the track, or if it's the temperature of the driver under the helmet that's causing a lot of the problems that we're seeing, and all of these hardware failures. We've had a lot of cars that have dropped out of the race due to mechanical failures. There's O'Brien coming from that 37 miles an hour on fresh tires, coming back out, still maintaining third place. Here's Jiggly right on his back door. And you can kind of see the speed difference between the two. O'Brien's likely out on probably more fuel. Oh, and now they said hello to each other. Jiggly should actually stop right there. He slowed down. And in this case, that was the right thing for him to do. The rule states that if you miss the inner loop of the bus stop, certainly he could not gain an advantage by missing that. And we saw him actually maintain proper space to put O'Brien back in front of him. Don't know if that would lead to a track steward slowdown, because that's definitely off of the racing line. So our leader Harry on lap 30, coming up through the S's.
Whoa, he was a bit twisty there.
And the car that's behind him there, that's the number 47 car. That's Green Gaming. As not for position, we can see that Green Gaming has also got quite a bit of front end damage, but has still maintained to stay out there regardless of the damage, knowing that there's only 7 cars left in the Stock Car Championship Series. And where Green Gaming is 6 in points right now, this is going to wind up being a very good points day for him. Oh, Harry. And he doesn't have anybody pushing him, so I wonder what's going on with the car right now.
Well, I'd say it's very, very low on fuel, and the tyres weren't close to being spent. I'd say they're definitely on the end of the run.
And with 8 minutes left, 8 minutes left, you got Dale the Whale coming behind you. Did he miss his opportunity to get in, get the pit stop, get some tires, get some fuel, and have enough energy left to be able to fight with Dale to the finish?
Well, if he comes in now, he's cooked. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Dale will get past him at the pit stop. Does he have better tyres and stuff? If he does all that, coming out? Well, yes, but does he have enough time to run him down with 8 minutes
Here he
to go?
goes.
And as he comes in.
Here he goes. So, as you mentioned, as you were saying earlier, in this case, Dale undercut Harry, got into the pits, got what he needed. Now let's see if the strategy, if the car chief changed the strategy for Harry to allow him to get at minimum what he needs, which he likely needs tires. With Jumbo moving over, letting Dale the Whale go by.
Well, he's got him now. He's not even heading out of the pits yet, is he?
Nope, still in the
He's
pits.
just heading out.
Yeah, he's rolling right now. He's at the end of pit lane. Let's see where he... Dale's all the way up.
I would have come in earlier if it was me.
Well, you would have hoped in this case that his pit crew would have told him that Dale had made a pit stop, and at the very least, since he couldn't have got it shut down at that point, to go in there with him. I would have come in on the very next stop.
Well, that's when, his Darlowell's outlap's got to be fantastic, and you've got to do as much as you want to. You've got to do a good outlap, because your in and your outlaps count to a lot. Pit stop.
Well, with 6 minutes left to go, Harry's got, so he's got a 10-second gap right now. And
well, if he's changed his tyres and didn't whack too much fuel in it, he might be able to catch up to Dale.
Yeah, and if he can
see.
Right, can he control his breathing at this point and not let his, not get over anxious? He knows he's got a fast car, he knows he's got the capability, and he knows that with 5 minutes left to go, he's got plenty of time, as long as Dale doesn't wind up starting to cut some 108s now that he's been keeping in his bag.
Yeah. Well, he's left his stop when he left his stop, and the suggestion we're proposing, if you stopped earlier, would the gap be so large? I don't believe so. I think the gap would have been smaller. So, crew chief sort of giving him a bit of a bum steer on that one, but sometimes they call the shots, and you just go, yeah, coming in.
I agree, Bentley. We know so much that it's more than cutting a good line to winning a race. It's everything. It's deciding not only when you pit, how much fuel you take. Are you going to take tires? Are you not going to take tires? Are you going to risk it for the biscuit? And here we see Carlin Hicks moving way off the line to allow Dale the Whale to get by.
Yeah, Dale almost rolled. He said, well, what? No, the truck's waiting. Oh, okay. Yeah, you get, and people don't realise that. You get so damn focused on the car in front of you. It doesn't matter if it's a lap down car or your car you're racing. If they go tracking off the track, you go, oh yeah, I'm following them. Oh no, I should be over here. And if you're a little bit late on your wake up call, you're travelling across the grass with them.
I hate to admit it. I've had that happen before, especially if you're close enough behind and you're maybe trying to steal something from their line. It's like, where are they? Are they consistently going here, going there? Is there an opportunity for me to figure out a way to be as fast as them or faster than them? And they make a mistake, and you're so locked on their rear bumper that you fall them off into no man's land.
Especially with like 3 minutes to go, you're getting a bit tired, even for a 45-minute race, you're getting a bit, if you're going around the same track, you follow the car in front, they mark up with their braking spot or you're under wide, you just you're automatically following, just going in their footsteps. You go, oh,
That's
I didn't want to do that.
yeah, that's a great point. You know, we have, oh, and here we have Green Gaming again. Was that Green Gaming? It looks like O'Brien. I don't know if they got together.
Yeah. Maybe.
But now that's definitely slowed Dale down.
Yeah,
but at the same time, Harry's gap has gone from 10 seconds to 17 seconds. So who knows what he had to contend with. Yeah, sounds like he's using a lot more downshifting to actually get the car to rotate through the corners. Carlin, Green Gaming both in the pits. Wonder if Carlin had some damage as he moved over to let Dale go by.
He could have. Maybe he was a bit wide and actually was in the fence.
And with only 2 minutes left to go, so be curious in the post-race to hear what actually happened with Carlin. One of the things that we lack is we lack the opportunity to get live updates from the pits. So a lot of the information we get from the pits winds up being third hand in most instances. And it's always interesting to know a little bit more about the strategy that goes into, you know, what makes a championship run, what makes a single race run, what makes a single fuel segment, a single tire segment. It's always interesting to know not only what the thought process is, but some of the challenges that the drivers and the teams have to go through. We only get to see the end result on the track. We see the what, but a lot of times we don't always know the why.
Yeah, and with this race and Cat Guy not being here, Dale's definitely pushing up the charts in the scoring, and Harry's doing the same, and Jiggly and that are coming up through the ranks, and O'Brien's coming in fifth, so he gets points, but he doesn't have a good day out. He has a reasonable day out with 2 ovals to go, so
yeah, and you get O'Brien back to the ovals, and that will he'll be more at home there, and we'll see. I know Dale will be fast when we get to the ovals, but this is we'll get Cat Guy, we'll get O'Brien back on the ovals, and we'll see this happen. We're here with our leader, Dale the Whale. What appears to be the final lap. It's been a drive for the ages. Dale not only sat on the pole, I would likely bet he's going to wind up getting the additional point for the fastest lap. Coming through the inner loop of the bus stop for the last time through the carousel. Got a commanding lead over Harry. Harry's going to wind up having a very good points finish today.
He's done a good job overall, just didn't have the car at the right time. And even Dale didn't have the right car at the right time, but he's just been able to do 109s and fast lap times when he needed to.
Coming off the last corner, down to the start-finish line. And your winner of the 2021 Flux Motorsport Season Stock Car Championship, Race 6 at Watkins, Glen, Dale the Whale. Coming to the line.
Yeah, I would say great game and come and go. Yeah, I'm second dude, just go.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have seen it going, yeah, you're not going to make that corner. No way in a million years you're going to make that corner. I don't know what, Harry, you're stopping on the track. Not a good idea, dude. Somebody come up behind you and don't realise you're playing around, they're going to square your butt to the fence.
Well, and I think too maybe he did that because of Jiggly. We don't necessarily know what happened there, but Always a show of sportsmanship. Um, but here we have our results, and what an incredible race, especially for the 8 drivers that actually made it to the finish. Dale Well, your winner. Harry, Jiggly Jello, great podiums. These were the guys that were fast at the very start of the race. These were the guys that wound up actually turning, so 38 laps if you're keeping track at home. When we come back here next season, set your strategy for 38 laps.
Daz didn't leave, he's still here. Retired to the pits.
Boof Jumbo, second race in the Flux Motorsport camp. Excellent with a first place finish.
Yeah, drive of the day.
Yes.
Jiggly, yeah.
Yep, I certainly agree. Jiggly and Dale had both 109's race pace. Certainly Dale winds up getting, again, it's a maximum points day. Sits on the pole, fastest lap in the race.
It's close. 109.465 to 109.490. There's nothing in that.
Shout outs to O'Brien in 5th, Carlin Hicks in 6th, Green Gaming, a couple of laps down, but he finished the race, 7th, and then Daz in 8th.
And the thing about this whole thing is they finished out the race and they got points where the disconnectors, the engine blows and not here. We'll see what happens next season. All right,
well, Daz, it was great to share the booth with you today. We knew it was going to be an exciting race. It lived up to the hype from qualifying all through the race. Great race overall. Join us next week's fans. We go to Indianapolis. We're back on ovals, where all we have to do is worry about making left-hand turns. Oh, wait a minute.
Indy.
A lot of left-hand turns. This is One Shoe. Thanks to Muttley. Thanks to all watching out there.
Well,
and
morning for us, but anyway.
If you love what you see out here, come join us.
Get your Flux
FluxMotorsport.com.
All right. Catch you in there.
Thank you. And good night.